What is up, my YouTube and Apex family? Welcome to another episode of Apex Legends tutorials and thought by thought walkthrough. Right now you're watching part 2 of back-to-back game wins, and just like my last episode, I'm going to be giving you a thought by thought walkthrough on what I'm thinking during the game. Now, like I said, these games were back-to-back, so I've still got White Boy Mikey in here with me. And as the video is coming up on the squad that we're going to be fighting in the first portion of this video, why don't you go ahead and click that subscribe button right down in the corner and whack the bell to get notified on my next video. And if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and press that like button. White Boy got a little bit ahead of himself and ended up being alone against a duo. Now, White Boy Mikey is completely capable of taking on duos on his own, but that doesn't mean that we should not play smart. So right here, you're going to see over in the center left of the screen, we've got a player on the high ground while White Boy's got the low ground. In my last video, you remember me talking about making sure to have the high ground as much as possible. That's the biggest reason why we were able to last until the final 4 squads and then squad wipe the last 3.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power! Don't try it!
So we're going to try to land up over here to the left and above this other player. But since I made this decision a little too late, I ended up being about a step lower than them. And they made the mistake of going down to try to push White Boy Mikey while he healed up. Now you can see I'm rocking the Wingman R301 combo. They are both really good for mid-range distance firing. If you are really good with the Wingman, you can even hit medium long range distance firing. White Boy is really good at those shots. But I am hit and miss with that, and seeing as where White Boy Mikey is already hurting and in trouble, I'm gonna go with the R301 where I know I'm gonna have a higher hit rate, even though I might be able to do more damage per bullet with the Wingman. But since I now have the high ground and the opposing Wraith was able to drop down, I now have the advantage to be able to deter them and get them away from White Boy. This gives White Boy the ability to use whatever heals they have. And again, since I have the high ground, when I start getting shot at from the other side by the other teammate, it's really hard for them to actually land a shot on me. In fact, they still haven't even hit one. And because I distracted them enough, White Boy was able to pop off his whole Phoenix kit, and that takes forever. In fact, if you want to go back and watch how long it took for him to pop off that Phoenix kit, it took a very long time. It also made it very, very easy for White Boy to be able to finish them off on his own because of the damage that I had dealt. So I'm going to fast forward and actually skip just straight over to the next fight scene that we have in this game. I didn't really talk a lot about this in my last video, but it's important to know that you will only advance forward in this game and get better if you push those fights. If you don't push the fights, then you're not going to have any experience under your belt when it really matters at endgame. You need to push, 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 and fight, fight, fight. This game is all about statistics. You want more wins, you play more games, and you get in more fights. That's it. It's simple. Easy as that. You have to just go. There's no trick. There's no secret. There's no bot lobby. There's no anything. You just have to push, push, push. And again, notice how we're on the high ground. They might be hiding inside of the building, but we still end up coming out on top because we can see everything that's going on. We can see where they're trying to go. We have access to all of their exit points. We can watch them and just watch how this plays out. I see them through a window, so I throw a grenade down into it. Arc stars and frag grenades are, I think, the best for that. Thermite grenades are great if you're trying to get somebody to move, especially because it does longer lasting and cumulative damage, and you can kind of track those ticks as to where they are located. What kind of grenades do you guys prefer to use? Comment down below what kind of grenades you guys prefer to use. A side bonus of what we just did is we just blew doors off, making it to where they have less space to hide behind when they try to peek out. I fell for the bamboozle. It's hard not to fall for those, especially when you're super hungry for the kill. Remember, this is game 2 of a win, and we're all sorts of hyped up off of that win. And having wiped 3 squads before, I'm getting really antsy to just get those. And I would say that that's probably one of my faults in this game, is having gotten antsy to just go after those kills. Now here you might be wondering why White Boy Mikey dropped his care package. The answer is very simple. We know that they only have level 1 and level 3 armor on both of their persons. And we've been getting some pretty decent ticks on them, and they seem to be panicking. So we want them to think that we are vulnerable. The reality is that we're not, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself just a little bit vulnerable because of my confidence in White Boy's skill to check this care package to see if they have any level 4 armor or any other attachments for my weapons that could help me in this fight. I find a level 3 helmet and a digi-threat, and I love that digi-threat on this wingman right after the level 1 HCOG. See, I told you guys I might not be that great with my shots on the wingman this game. These parts right here where I get bamboozled 3 times in a row, man, this could have cost us this game, but we lucked out. However, if they would have been the legit dude, I mean, we also would have died. So, I mean, what else do you do in those situations? Comment below what you would have done in those situations with the bamboozles. And boom, because we both pushed, we ended up winning that fight. Now I'm going to fast forward to the next fight. So now we are still in capacitor for this next fight. Again, White Boy Mikey got stuck in the low ground and the other squad was pushing from up top. So I'm thinking I'm going to come around and flank to give White Boy an opportunity to come up that zip line. And we communicate this to each other. He tells me he's pinned, and so I tell him, okay, I'm going to flank from the back, and then I'll tell you when to come up the zip line. So now I start laying down the cover fire, making it to where White Boy is able to come up. I tell him that I'm getting laid on pretty thickly, so now he's going to try to make it up and over to get up. Now that he's up, he's now going to go up on top of the building. Now that I know he's going to get the jump on them, I'm going to phase into the building to safety where I can heal up. Now, the best heal I can do in this scenario is going to be a Phoenix kit. But do you remember how long a Phoenix kit takes to use? So I'm just going to have to hope that White Boy can handle these 2 guys, which I know that he's capable of doing so. However, even though he was able to knock 1 guy, when I come out and start running up the wall after I've used it, he is now down and there is only 1 guy left. He tells me that he only did a little bit of damage and there's still some shields I've got to take down, which lets me know I still have to play cautiously, peeking up and over the ridge and behind his teammate where he can't deal damage to us, but where I can deal damage to them. And remember, it's faster to switch weapons than it is to reload a weapon unless you're using a prowler. So what I do is I put my R301 away, pull out my wingman, and thank goodness I had that level 3 mag because I really needed every single one of those shots. I had 1 left in the chamber, as you can see right there, after I had knocked him down. So now as I'm getting White Boy Mikey up, we hear firing out west of us and we start heading that way. Again, I'm just going to fast forward and jump right to the final fight. There are currently 3 squads left, but by the time we get over to where we heard the shooting, it was us and 1 other squad. So, you know, bonus. Everybody, seeing that drop ship come down when it's you and 1 other squad left and you're playing duos nonetheless, man, your heart starts racing. You start thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so easy, but you still have to keep those same basic principles. Because once we get there, White Boy Mikey is down relatively quick because this Wraith is pretty good, but White Boy did some pretty decent damage on her, which made her easy to get down. Now, this is where I made the decision to have White Boy Mikey up just in case this other player was dropped another weapon and is better than I am, and I would like to have somebody to flank. And if I'm going to revive and they choose to revive, then it's back to 2-on-2, but it's going to be a little bit of an easier match for us to win. Now, I can also hear and listen because of my positioning at this point to see if anybody is coming up the 2 zip lines I have, and I can see in front of me if somebody's going to be popping out of the building or jumping on top of the building. Like right now, if I didn't have these perfect conditions, I would have just gone out and looked for the final player. But because I had the perfect conditions, I wanted to play it safe and have my teammate with me for the end. I hear footsteps running up to the downed player right below us, so I just drop right on down to start shooting. I tell White Boy Mikey they're going for the res, and then he drops down and helps get the assist with that final kill. And with that, now that they're both down, we end up winning the game. We end up being the champions. I might only have 2 kills for this game, but it was a very well played and thought out game once again. I mean, back-to-back wins. That's what we all want. We want to see how many wins we can get in a row, right? If you happen to miss my last thought-by-thought walkthrough on how to think like a pro streamer, up in the top right-hand corner is where you're going to find that. And make sure you click subscribe by clicking my profile picture there in the bottom right, and whack the bell to be notified for when my next video comes out. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the arena.